Hey guys, welcome to the J Squared Horror Podcast. I'm Josh.
And I'm Jake.
And on today's episode, we are going to be going over
2012's Sinister, directed by Scott Derrickson.
Ooh, what a good movie.
Very good movie. It had been a while since I watched it.
Yeah.
A couple of years, probably. Although I watched part 2 like yesterday. But the original one, it's been a while. It was a good rewatch to me.
Yeah. Jake, would you like to tell people where to find us and to like and subscribe?
I would.
All
so,
right.
as always, do not forget, like I just did, to like and subscribe on YouTube.
Pretty please. Gets the algorithm going in our favor.
You can also find us on Spotify.
Yep.
Also on Instagram, J Squared Horror Podcast, Linktree in the bio, new episodes every Thursday.
Every single Thursday, minus one that we missed. But yeah. All right. Jake, this is a very, we've done new movies.
Yeah.
But this is a very popular newer movie that we did that seems to resonate in the horror community and just movie buffs alone.
Yeah.
How do you like it? You're like such a classic horror dude.
I am.
I just was wondering, and I'm sure the fans are too. What is just like, are you a fan? Do you like what they did? Was it scary at all for a guy like you?
I am definitely a fan of the movie.
Cool.
Do I find it scary? Yeah, I do actually. I do find this movie scary. There are some very good jump scares in it. The pacing is very good in this movie.
Yeah. This isn't like a hard watch at all.
Yeah.
I just watched it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Usually I'm not really a guy that's big on pacing in a movie.
Yeah.
Honestly, but with certain movies, like it has to at some point, be going somewhere.
Yeah. And we watched Night of the Living Dead recently, the
Yeah.
1990 remake, and that was I think that's where pacing kind of really popped into our heads because it was
not good.
It's a tough follow.
It is, yeah.
So we got Ethan Hawke.
Mm-hmm.
Is this his first horror role?
I do not know, but let's just say yeah.
I would believe so.
Sure.
He's definitely played some like in-depth dramas.
Yeah,
but
he's very good in Training Day.
Very good in Training Day. I think that that could have probably helped in a movie like this of this caliber.
You think so?
Yeah. Because he has to get to some pretty deep places in that movie. That's an intense movie.
It is.
So I was watching an interview with Mr. Hawke himself, and he was talking about. I found this very interesting. So the interviewer asks him. He goes, "Why do you think that big male actors always seem to want to turn down horror films? Jack Nicholson in The Shining. There's a couple other examples." And he had this really interesting tidbit of information to share.
Okay.
He said that portraying fear is not something they want to do. It kind of goes against that whole manly actor vibe.
Okay.
Because you're having to portray and find these fear, to be scared.
Yeah, but you're not like an action hero.
Yeah, but still, it's not sexy to be scared. And ultimately, as a male actor, you'd want to appear tough and sexy, I guess.
Okay, all right.
And he also said that for him personally, one of his biggest reasons he didn't want to do a film like this was because he felt like he would open himself up to that in the real world. Like to to be able to do a role like this. It's not necessarily like method or like all the different styles of acting.
Yeah.
He just said that it freaked him out to be in a movie like this where you have to find that fear and that side of it. But he really felt like he could open himself up to the darkness that a movie like this carries with it.
Which I am an advocate for avoiding those kind of things.
Yeah.
As I told you before.
Yeah. It's like ghost hunting you're not a big fan of, going into like possessed houses and stuff like that.
Ouija boards.
Oh, no, I would never mess with a Ouija board.
No thanks.
Yeah.
But I'm glad he did the movie.
I'm very glad he decided to go and do this movie because, I can't think of another actor that I would want in it.
Really?
Yeah, think about it. We were talking about it while the movie was on. The chemistry between him and the wife, his wife in this movie, you can't. That was amazing.
Yeah.
That was some of real raw argument. Like, it seems like they were actually fighting on camera. Like, they were mad at each other.
Yeah, it came across like a legit argument.
Super authentic.
Yeah.
And I think that chemistry worked very well because of the ultimate darkness of this movie and what he and she needed to bring to each character.
Yeah. And just their whole dynamic. Like I said to you during the movie, it was like watching like a modern day, if Jack Torrance from The Shine was like an actual writer.
Yep.
That's how he would seem, I think.
Yeah, this movie definitely gives you like a modern Shining vibe.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that he's not the bad guy.
Yeah, well, he's kind of the bad guy.
But he's not the villain.
Sure.
He might have caused
100% he did.
this
it's all his fault.
Bughuul to come after his kids and himself. But
so the whole Bagol thing.
Yeah.
Eater of children, right?
Yes, he is the eater of children.
So he's kind of like Pennywise.
In a sense, yeah.
Yeah, eats kids, whatever.
From the Babylonian era.
My whole thing, which I was not comprehending at all during this movie, is if he eats children, and his thing is, they say he possesses the kids, takes their soul, blah, blah, blah. Why was Ethan Hawke's character seeing so much of him?
Well, he was only seeing it in the found footage.
That's what I mean, like the pictures,
Yeah.
the found footage. He saw him towards the end. If he affects the kids, then why would he even see him at all?
Because
were like the other parents in the other film seeing him too?
They weren't looking. I think he's an actual entity that appears in our world, but typically the kids just see him because they have been attached to him in a sense because of however.
How?
They say it's the pictures.
What pictures?
Remember the guy at the end of the movie was like, it can be as simple as you opening yourself up to the images of Bughuul, and that's what causes him to be able to get in. Okay. So like if the kid can paint the symbol, that ultimately would open them up, I think. I don't know. Some of it, there's obviously minor plot holes.
Yeah.
But in Ethan Hawke's character's sense, he's watching the videos over and over and over and over and over and over and over.
Like I told you, the first watch of the first film is enough. That's all you need. You got the gist of it.
Well, the first movie that all right. So you're telling me right now, you're gonna go into an attic of a house you just bought, knowing that people were hung out in your backyard. You find a box of Super 8 film and a Super 8 player.
Yeah.
You pop the first one in, and it's the murder that happened at your house.
Yeah.
Right? Which is the book you're trying to write.
Correct.
Right? Cool. Okay. Now you see some other ones with some fancy, cute little titles. Barbecue. It's like summer swim party.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is just put 2 and 2 together based on that first film. You know something? I think I'm good.
I'll probably pop one in.
Would you?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Especially like, all right, if I was to just put myself...
If you pop a second one, you're going to watch a third.
Exactly. I would probably watch them all. I know that sounds fucked up. But hear me out. If I was Ethan Hawke's character in this movie, I'm watching all of them.
Yeah, but why though?
Because that's going to make your book the best book ever.
Your book's about the most recent one that you watched.
If you can tie that all together and nobody's ever figured that out before, that makes you...
And that's the problem right there. That was his problem. He's doing too much.
Yeah, man.
He's being greedy.
Hey,
if I had the Kentucky blood.
Hey, if I had the opportunity, like even in the podcast world, that I got something like that on my lap, I'm diving in, man.
Okay, let's say scenario here. You find some SD cards that have episodes of podcasts on them, and the first episode. It's like someone who went missing or a murder, and the murder is on that card. But there's like 6 of them. Yeah. You listen to the first one, you hear everything happening, you hear the murder happening. You're going to pop in the other 5?
Yeah, for sure.
Nah, I'm good.
Yeah. I'm not saying you have to.
I wouldn't.
That's what you have the host here for, man. You know, we gotta rifle through all the footage and evidence, but so then we can come out with the best content ever.
You opened yourself up to it.
I've been opening up this shit for years, man. I ghost hunted for a while.
And now you're up here on the podcast. You're hearing stuff in your headphones that I can't hear.
Yeah.
Because you listened to all the episodes.
Yeah, man.
All you needed was the first one.
Nope.
That's all he needed.
Nah. It's the ultimate drive for wanting to be remembered and to be epic. You know what I mean?
No.
I mean, maybe you just maybe you're happy with who you are and where you're at in life.
Yeah, just call me good old just content, I guess.
Yeah, not me, man. I would do exactly what he did for sure.
You'd end up like he did too.
Yeah, I'd be dead.
You'd be dead.
I don't have kids though.
True.
Oof,
Still be dead though,
dude. So
someone else's kids will kill you.
that's fine. Whatever. As long as I know it wasn't my little bastards coming after me. I think I've mentioned this before. I hate kids.
I know.
In particular, horror movies.
Yeah.
In general, really. But kids terrify me.
Okay.
Right? So this movie does a really good job of, like, the little girl that pops up over Ethan Hawke's shoulder.
Yeah.
I just watched this movie 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I still jumped.
Yeah. Well, you know.
I'm a bit, yeah. I get frightened very easily in horror movies, which is fine. Like, everybody has their way of watching it, their way of enjoying it. I like the jump scares, but I tell you what, something about a kid just really gets to me. Mm-hmm. Like the night terror thing, I've witnessed that in real life. Like, I've had someone in my house have a night terror. And as far-fetched and as crazy as it seemed in this movie, because, yeah, he's, like, crawling out of a box and stuff. But that scream...
Insane.
That's real, man. It's freaky. And to me, I would just want to punt the kid in the face and be like, all right, we're good.
I get sleepwalking.
Yeah. I mean, I've sleepwalked.
Like we talked about it. I sleepwalk. I end up in the front yard.
Yeah, my mama saw me walk right out my dad's front door.
Happens all the time.
Yeah.
But... to be screaming like that and then have no recollection of it at all is insane to me. But if I walked into my kitchen, and I see a kid, or even my kid, coming out of a box like that, I'm just gonna smack them and wake them up,
just right there.
Like, dude, wake up!
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, let's go. Let's get out of that box and get back into bed.
You know.
But they made it seem like he was always having the night terrors.
No, he had them before, but never this bad.
He was having them before, though.
Yeah.
So it's like a new thing.
It's just worse. It's like escalated.
Yeah, the one where he was out in the bush, dude, he would have caught a baseball bat to the face.
Yeah, man. There's no chance in hell that I just saw Bughuul's face in the bush, and I finally, after an entire movie of him walking around in the dark, decides to grab a flashlight and a baseball bat. The
weakest flashlight ever.
Yeah, it was a very, very bad flashlight. And so he is walking out into the backyard where he saw Bughuul's face. He kind of like held up a picture that he took of a video that was in there and saw the face, and he put it down and saw the face. But he walks out there, and your nerves are, my nerves were shot just sitting here watching it. You know, it was a freaky scene.
Yeah.
And then your kid looks like the fucking Ring character in the bush.
But makes no noise this time.
You're getting a bat to the face, dude.
Even though I know it's you, just because you're out here, I'm going to do it.
Right. Yeah. Like, go back to bed. Oh.
If your mom asked, I didn't know it was you.
No, I had no idea. I had no idea. How do you like... I should have looked this up before, but do you know if Bagol is like actually based off of like an actual Babylonian like entity, like demon, like, because you know a lot of the times the Exorcist movies and stuff like that ultimately it's like the devil.
Yeah, I mean, it probably is. Yeah, it may have a different name to it.
Yeah,
you know. But yeah, I would assume so. I mean, not to be like someone who's like conspiracy theorists or anything, but I feel like most of these movies are based on some form of reality. Yeah,
that's a good point. Yeah.
Whether it's a different real life serial killer or a real life religious belief,
it could be super loosely based off of something real.
Yeah.
That's the only way for it to
Which could be anything.
Yeah. You can literally, because I think that they said that Texas Chainsaw was loosely based off of Ed Gein.
Yeah. But I feel like
that's a stretch.
Yeah.
That's a stretch. I mean, I've done my research on him.
I feel like you can relate anything to a lot of things.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. But I feel like with the whole scorpion thing and the snake, it can tie into something.
It has to.
Yeah.
How do you feel like they did with the look of Bagul?
Loved it.
Like, is that to a guy like you?
Yeah.
When the way they do it, is that frightening?
Yes.
At all?
I liked it because you don't see a lot of him.
Okay. Yes. Thank you for saying that.
He's hidden a lot. There's a lot of shadows on him. In part 2, there's too much Bagul.
Yeah, that's why we're doing Sinister.
True. And not Sinister 2.
Yeah.
But if you watch part 2 versus part 1, there's too much of him in part 2.
Yeah.
And this one, I like that.
You do kind of get it at the end, though. Like, I'm not a big fan of the way it ended.
With the jump scare at the end?
No, not the jump scare at the end.
What?
Him picking her up and, like, walking into the Super 8 film.
Yeah, well, how else did he get her in the film?
I could have just had her with him in the background. Good. I didn't have to see her get carried into the film. I know that's showing that she's being taken into his realm, as they talked about earlier, but I didn't have to see that. I knew that would happen. I just don't like the.
I don't think you knew that would happen.
I mean, he explains it earlier in the movie.
He
the professor
that he picks the kids to take them to the movie.
He explains that once they're susceptible to it, they can be taken to his realm, which isn't our realm.
So. You didn't want to see her actually be taken to that realm.
No, it's not needed.
You just want to know that it happens.
Yeah. Okay. I'm cool with that.
All right.
I kind of like that. I would have liked her when, like, all the kids are in. Like, I like that the kids from the previous murders were all in the Super 8 film. Because that kind of consistent throughout the movie.
Sure.
But when she is at the end, she's all bloody.
So when they all, like, lean their heads.
And then she leans her head. If you would have just seen him in the background.
And then cut to black.
I would have been super stoked on that. That's just me being nitpicky. Because it's not a bad movie. Like, that didn't ruin the movie like Mama. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because and that's interesting because you're really big on the
I'm
ending.
very big on the ending.
Can ruin an entire movie.
An entire movie, but this didn't do it. The movie was too good to be ruined by something that I just nitpicked at the end.
Yeah, but that's the definition of nitpicking something, though. Like picking out one thing and then making it.
Yeah, but it depends on
bigger
the
deal than it should
severity.
be.
Yeah, it depends on the severity of my nitpick and my personal opinion.
But to ruin a movie, though?
Yeah, like Mama, I hated that ending. It made the movie drop down a significant amount of points because of the ending. This movie didn't. I just wasn't. I would have done it differently.
So it didn't change the rating at all for you?
No. Not this time. Not this instance. Because they didn't do it too far-fetched. Like, if they would have floated up into the fucking sky in a UFO or something, yeah, dude, that's going to drop my... That's going to drop it down.
But picking someone up and taking them into a screen isn't far-fetched to you?
It is, but it still kind of fits with what's going on in this movie thus far.
Okay.
Because, all right, so you have the scene where Ethan Hawke is going through the house, and he's hearing noises, and they have that really cool where it's like they're either recorded in quarter or whatever. We were talking about it during the movie. There's a cool scene where, like, the ghost kids are, like, running, but super slowly all around Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
Which is showing that, like, his brain and him are very open to that realm because of him watching the movies.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's fine.
Okay.
Because it's kind of like showing that parallel between both realms.
Okay.
So that's why it's not super far-fetched at the end.
Gotcha. All right.
And if the professor never would have said that Bughuul takes them into the realm and then, like, feeds off of their souls for the time being, or he actually eats the kid, which was kind of confusing, but whatever.
Yeah, I don't think he eats the actual kid.
No, he said, I swear he said it. When he was talking, he's like, yeah, he either just brings them into the realm, like feeds off their souls, or he eats them.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Ethan Hawke repeated, he eats the kid?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah.
Yeah.
He eats them. And I thought, that's not true.
It doesn't really fit.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Yeah, I mean,
he's not eating these fucking kids.
Yeah, it's way too Pennywisey.
Yeah.
You know? It's like,
also, what? No.
He's like the eater of souls, like kids' souls.
He's not eating actual children.
But the dude was like, yeah, he eats them.
Yeah. He doubled down on that.
He did. It was a twofer, man. Yeah. It's crazy. So if you... man... you're just too smart to ever be really stuck in a movie like this.
No.
You know, I'm not. I'm definitely very Ethan Hawke, like we said.
Dude, just watch one and leave.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying, like,
focus on your book. You're there for a book, not to watch movies.
Yeah, but the movies ultimately give you research for the book. Whatever. It's just really well done for somebody that's like, you know.
Well, I guess since you sat there and watched all these movies,
yeah.
If you had a favorite family kill, which one would it be?
Ooh, all right. So, for like the way it was done, not necessarily like it's definitely the lawnmower.
Yeah,
dude, just the way they did it. So it's like sometimes there's like a background where they're like happy family and like they're out at the pool or they're out at the lakeside or whatever it may be. This one, they're just like, somebody's like peeking in through a window, and then it's like cut to the little flashlight Super 8 look over the top of the lawnmower, and you're like, okay, this is kind of weird, little rainy nighttime lawnmower session. Okay, well then it goes, it's like concrete grass. Okay, and then when it runs over the person, the music or the sound that it makes as Ethan Hawke's character
hops up out his chair.
It makes you, for normal people, react.
Yeah,
like you're gonna, because of that loud sound and did somebody's face just get ran over by a lawnmower? Yeah, dude. That one gets. Now, what was yours?
Okay. Well, before I say mine, watching that scene, the first thing I could think of was when he comes off like the concrete. Yeah, those lines are just messy.
Yeah, he wasn't doing a good job following his mowing
very
rules.
messy.
Yeah, and I'm a stickler for straight lines in my yard.
So was my dad.
Dude, I am.
I remember growing up, I'd kind of like jiggle a little bit.
Yeah,
sometimes like
a bee
kind
of comes near you.
Yeah, too far left, and he's like, "You missed this. You missed this. You missed this." But anyway,
I used to cut my grass different ways every week. Horizontally, vertically,
A lot of creativity. Okay.
Yeah, it's just helps the grass grow.
Okay, well, maybe it does. Who
lawn
knows?
Mowing podcast now.
I'm not a lawnmower expert. I mean, I do enjoy doing yard work, like cutting the grass and stuff, but the grass grows fine. Anyway, the point is, so my favorite kill would probably be the pool one.
Okay, that's where I was gonna go.
Yeah,
but I give my nod to the lawnmower.
Yeah, I mean, it's so good because, like you mentioned before, that they actually had those actors tied to these chairs.
Yeah,
and
dude,
pulling them in. I guess having the proper people down there waiting.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they had like scuba divers down there with like oxygen and stuff, but that was all real. Like somebody was pulling the rope with the center block tied to the fucking chairs with actual human beings on it into a pool. Like you said, that one kind of like falls on top of the person that was just dropped into the water. But then you said, what was it about Bughuul? Wasn't the actor really just standing in water?
He's walking down. He had like
weights on? Yeah. It just added.
Yeah, but you can tell that wasn't CGI.
No, that's what I'm saying.
It looks like someone walking down.
This movie was a lot of practical.
Yeah.
Which we've gone on and on about.
Yeah.
But
very good.
For it being this modern of a movie and going that, realer than a lot of other movies have ever done. It's just, it adds to the eeriness. Like you said, the fact that you don't see Bagol a lot. The fact that these actors and actresses are really getting pulled under the water, Hell, for all I know, an actor really laid there with a bladeless lawnmower rolling over his face, dude. It was that realistic seeming. It's insane. I
mean, that probably could have happened.
I'm saying, man, with being dunked in a pool with a center block tied to a chair, I don't put it past them to have a bladeless lawnmower just running over people's faces, man. The only ones I didn't like, my least favorite ones, I know you didn't ask, but screw it, I'm going to tell you anyway.
Okay.
Was the neck slice ones.
Really?
Because it didn't look.
Whoa.
What?
You didn't like that at all?
No. I liked the idea. I did not like the execution of the makeup department.
You just like how it looked.
I liked
how it was shot, right?
No. I liked how they would switch from it being on film to a reflection in his glasses.
Okay.
I did not like the small ass cuts they decided to go with. I'm no forensic expert, but I feel like the kid that was killing the family could have done a much bigger cut.
I mean, you don't know how much pressure he applied? Or?
I don't, but they only look like Adam's apple length, some of them, and I was just like, eh.
You went in there just, he's done.
Yeah, but I've known there's been stories of people surviving much worse. So, I don't know. I get it. They're tied to their beds. They're bleeding out of their necks. Yeah. They're going to die.
Can't move.
I just wanted, I guess I'm just that fucked up of an individual.
You want their fucking heads chopped off or something?
Dude, I just want, all the way across the neck, man. I want it from, jugular to jugular, if that's even possible.
Well,
hey, just in the horror world, like movies.
My least favorite is the fire in the car thing.
But it's a big fear of a lot of people.
Being burned alive?
Yeah, dude.
Why?
Well, just say it for me. Burned alive.
Yeah, I understand that.
Just like people are scared of being buried alive.
That I get more.
Okay, cool. But
or drowning.
Drowning's terrifying, like the chairs.
Falling off a building.
Falling off that wouldn't be too bad.
Falling off a building?
Nah, dude, you're done. Clocked out. Done.
You hope?
Nah. If you fall from a high enough building, you're donezo.
You can fall. There was a story. I think she fell from like 15 stories.
Ooh. She lived?
Yeah.
Okay. If I'm falling, I'm going to try to like reposition myself head first. That way, there's no questions asked that I'm going out of here.
What?
Yeah, if I'm falling from 15 stories, right? You have time to think about that fall.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, this sucks, right? So if I can reposition to where I'm not going like foot first, I'm gonna try to reposition so that way I'm done. I'm not gonna have my femurs in my rib cage and somehow still being like a vegetable alive. Like that sounds terrible.
Dude, I'm just gonna fall and try to fall like hands first, arms first.
No, face for me, just like a torpedo. Just like Superman just failed and that's me. That's what I want.
Yeah, I don't mind breaking an arm or a wrist, but I'm not gonna.
15 stories, you're gonna be pretty jacked up.
I'm not gonna position myself.
I broke my back jumping off a 15-foot porch as a kid. So if I'm one to know the shittiness of like jumping off some shit and getting injured, I kind of do because I did.
Break a leg, that's fine with me, but
no. Yeah, but 15 stories, you're getting jacked up.
I'll have my kneecap in my neck, whatever. I'm sure they'll fix me.
My kneecap in my neck.
Yeah,
we're fine.
It'll be good.
No, dude, that sounds terrible.
All right, but the burn alive, I hated that.
Yeah, I mean, I get that.
It looked bad.
It wasn't the best. It sounds so terrible. You didn't get to see as much. It was just like a flaming car, which the whole family was in. But again, that's sad.
I feel like you get the gist of it.
But like, I didn't understand like how much time do you think they put in like putting the chains around the car? Like, okay, they're tied up.
Yeah.
Obviously drugged somehow because that's kind of a thing.
So that's my question there.
Yeah.
Are the kids doing this?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So
there's no way that little girl tied up her father.
They were all sister drugged.
And so what does that mean?
I don't know. Did you? All right. So when Ethan Hawke picks up his coffee cup,
doesn't give her super strength.
That said "Good night, Daddy."
Yeah.
If you look in there, there's like green glowing booger looking thing. Yeah. What's interesting is Ethan Hawke earlier in the movie, while talking to the cop, asks about the toxicology reports, asking if they've been drugged. But they never confirm nor deny it. Not that I picked up on.
Okay.
So is it some magical Bughuul drug that's just like he sneezes in a cup and now everybody's dead to the world so you can reposition them as a 8 to 10-year-old child? Or does Bughuul help? That's the question. I think Bughuul helps.
Bughuul has to help.
Has to.
There's no way.
Ethan Hawke's a solid-looking individual. Looks like he's in pretty good shape.
He's
in this
an adult.
Not to mention,
he's an adult man.
The house that they're in is like a 3-story brick mansion.
Yeah.
That's a distance to get them all in the same little area, right in front of the fireplace.
I'm sure the rooms were upstairs too.
Yeah, definitely. His office had to have been up there because it seemed like he was kind of near the attic.
Yeah,
but I think Bagol helps. He like comes out of his realm and he's like, "I got you. I'll set them up for you.
Yeah.
You just turn the camera on and do this."
Yeah. He's the director, pretty much.
He's behind the scenes doing this. That's your favorite. Your favorite kind of guy there, man.
Is, yeah.
Do you Did you like Deputy
so-and-so? Yeah, I did. I hated him in part 2.
Okay.
But in this one, he's sarcastic. He's helpful. He's a good character, I feel like.
Okay. This isn't a movie rating question. This is a scare level question. Okay. On a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the most frightening thing you've ever witnessed on TV, 1 being Teletubbies. Okay. What would you rate the scare factor of Sinister? For you, being a guy that's not that scared easily.
For me personally, like a 5.
Really?
Yeah. Like there are certain parts, like the lawnmower scene.
Yeah.
The very first time I saw it, I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
That and seeing when he's going through the pictures or the reel and he sees Bughuul in certain parts that you just saw that you didn't see him in.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Certain parts of that is scary. What about you?
Me, it's like a 8.
Okay. Why?
Because of the way they chose to do it. Just like you were saying. So I think you got to go to the restroom in this part. But one of the most eerie kind of freaky parts is when he has the image on the computer screen and he's like looking off and like doing something and that fucking thing turns and then turns back. Dude. And then not to mention the little girl that pops up over the shoulder. Yeah. I don't like that shit. Yeah. Then you got just like, so I was thinking about this when we were watching it. This doesn't have to do with the scared factor, but this is one of my little tangents here.
Okay, right? Tangent time.
Yeah. So as I mentioned when we did As Is Above, So Below, when I worked at Terminex, I spent a lot of times in crawl spaces. Do you know where else I spent a lot of times?
Attics.
Okay. Looking for rats, snakes, things like that. So it freaked me out because I realized the amount of calls I went on that just sounded like Ethan Hawke talking about what's going on every day for him. I would be the guy that was going in that attic to look for shit. Yeah. One time in particular, this wasn't a call, but I was just doing an inspection. Super old house down at the oceanfront. The lady was older, had to move, had a bunch of stuff in her attic, so I did an inspection. I start in the attic, work my way down. Okay. Well, I'm going around this attic, right? Looking around, it's a bunch of stuff. I mean, you got like, Korean War outfits. You got stuff from like the 50s and 60s. I mean, it was insane. So I get to this back corner of this lady's attic, and there's a fucking Ouija board box sitting there. As soon as my eyes caught that thing said Ouija, I was done. I was like, ma'am, your house is great. It's good to go. Thank you so much for your time. Shook her hand. Like, dude, I was out. I took a picture of it. I probably still have it on my phone. The box looked old as shit, dude. Do you think I even checked to see if the Ouija board itself was in there? Fuck no. It was in an attic. It was scary, and I murked.
It was sitting out for you to use it.
Dude, you better stop.
That's why I was sitting there.
That's terrifying.
They want you to use it.
I've seen a plethora of dolls in attics, which always you're kind of like, ooh, that's kind of freaky. Yeah. That Ouija board, shivers up my spine when I saw it. I mean, you got to think it's like this movie, except I used a flashlight and I knew I just shined it. And you got to think there's just shit piled up. It's somebody's attic that's lived there for 60 years. Yeah. And I see a Ouija board box just sitting there, and it's just perfectly like facing me the right way to where you can clearly read Ouija. Yeah. And it was like I almost got possessed, bro.
I was screaming, use me.
Didn't touch it, didn't look at it. I did take a picture, which kind of freaked me out. But just saying, I would have been somebody that would have went to an Ethan Hawke's house and looked around in their attic for Bagol. All right. So, man, what do you rate this on a scale from 1 to 10?
On a scale from 1 to 10, I rate Sinister an 8.5.
Nice. Yeah. That's a really high rating from you.
I know.
No, it's like a good. Like that's. I think I haven't heard an 8.5 in a while from you. Yeah. I give it a 9.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very high. Wow. Now that I said that, but I do really love this movie.
Yeah, I don't like 9 super high.
No, it's really, really good.
Yeah, it is good.
Like we were saying, it's really hard to pick things out that are actually bad about it. Like usually there's like an actress that you hate, an actor that you don't appreciate, a story part that you don't necessarily like.
Oh, like a terrible character.
Even with the ending that I wasn't a big fan of, that didn't do anything for my rating.
So even with the ending you wanted, It's still been 9 for you?
Yeah. It didn't make that big of a difference if they would have had that.
Good.
Anything else you want to add to the episode, bud?
No, nothing I can think of.
Sweet. Well, thank you guys always for tuning into the J Squared Horror Podcast. Like Jake said earlier on the episode, make sure to check us out every single Thursday. We are available on YouTube and Spotify. Our Instagram is J Squared Horror Podcast. There's a link tree in the bio. And big shout out to all our fans and supporters. Really, thank you guys so much for tuning in every week and listening to us. We love it. We love doing this every single week, being able to talk about our favorite genre of movies week in and week out. Big shout outs to Lucky Riggs, who does our intro music. We have something new in the making right now that we are very excited about. Also, a big shout out to Jeff Balance, who does our design work. He is also working on something new and exciting for us. Hopefully, maybe some new merch coming out soon. Not that you guys have gotten your hands on any yet, but we're looking forward to it. Because we get to do whatever we want.
Yeah, you didn't get any of the old merch, but
no,
the new merch.
But we might have new merch coming up. Depends on what you guys like. When we finally get everything done, we will let you guys know. We'll probably put a poll up to see what you guys would want to rock.
Yeah.
This is the J Squared Horror Podcast. I'm Josh.
And I'm Jake.
You guys have a good week. And remember, it's hip to be squared.